back in the day, here I was, using probably a hammer, if not that actual one, just like that, tapping pins in, making sports shields. But to think that today, when you walk into our facility, we've got 6-axis cobots. That's quite a story.
In 1995, a young man working in his father's trophy engraving shop in Essex would have an idea to invest in something brand new, a 25-watt CO2 laser system. 30 years on, this moment of inspiration has created a world-renowned brand providing total laser solutions and leading the industry in innovation and expertise. This is the story of Lotus Laser.
My father, who co-founded Lotus Laser Systems with me, this was his shop, and there are 3 storage shelves. 2 exist, and you can see the notch for the shelf that I took out over 30 years ago. And I had to take it out because the only way to lift that door was to take out that shelf. The system turned up outside this very, very, very small store, was destroyed on delivery. We were not well advised before that delivery, so for example the front door of the shop was too small to take delivery of the machine even when we took it out of the crate. When I contacted the American supplier, I remember back at the time, didn't really want to help me. They couldn't ultimately, and I do appreciate why. Before I put the phone down, the guy on the phone said to me, well, we've got another couple of systems in the UK that they're not working correctly either. Would you mind going and fixing them? And I said, yeah, sure. I went, one of them was in Birmingham, and the guy at the time said to me, these are such great machines. If they worked and you were involved to service them, I'd buy more of them. So why don't we do that? And I said, fine. Went back to the American company and said, this guy wants to buy more machines. And they said, well, why don't you sell them for us? So I evolved over a period of what was really kind of several weeks, from being the son within an engraving trophy business, growing that business, to actually creating and forming a completely different business in itself, which was Laser White Limited, which was the core business behind the Lotus Laser Systems brand. The nature of the business is that you just don't know what comes next. That's what makes it so exciting, what makes it so enjoyable as well. What we have done though is we've managed to stay true to the course, which is that the tech that we do work with is either going to engrave something, mark something, or cut something. Yeah. And it's going to be a laser that does that. I think that's really important for us to hang on to for the foreseeable future at least, is to develop the business in a way where it can grow, but without losing the ethos of the business. So I am the 2nd generation carpenter. Joseph and Alex, they're the 3rd generations. I do actually have a couple of grandkids. Whether they come into the business or not, I'm not sure. But we are on the 3rd generation of carpenter in the business. I think that is another key essential element to its success, because we care.
I think it's not just the product, it's also the team, and that's our strongest point. Whenever we talk with other people or competitors, or people come to us from other companies which are within our family, as in all those laser companies out there, we're exposed to a lot of different companies with a lot of different knowledge. Some are great, but often it's that knowledge, or they're selling an item, they're just selling a tool, but they don't have that level of support, they don't have that level of expertise. Where we are it is a great product, but we've also got a great team, we've got a great building. Come and visit us. You know, we're kind of like the package. I joined 18 years ago. Just before I joined, we had rolled out our first, I think, 3 or 4 Lotus machines. First machines, we were plotter-based systems, good systems, basic systems, but I think just about all of those systems are retired now. There is one machine in Folkestone who I still talk to, and it's still going, back from 2007. From a general trend of our business, it's just a different league of technology where we were before, and I think we are there, or we are there within the market leaders. So it's just a much stronger place for us as a company.
To be in business for 10 years, let alone 30 years, is a massive accomplishment, especially not the tech industry. But we've been true to our core day one, keep innovating, keep coming up with new ideas, keeping the business fresh, alive, new directions. And so that's why it's like a new challenge every day. We're kind of like pioneers. Whatever direction we go, we're a smaller, nimble ship. They're like the Titanic, almost in the analogy. You know, we can dart around, change direction. They are kind of stuck in their ways and they're set. And that's a different type of business.
Our customers have made us increase. Our customers usually come to us with a problem and we don't know the solution. So it's down to us to come up with the solution. So a lot of our advancements, a lot of our changes or special one-off machines, it's the customer which has pushed us, and then we've gone to market and we've worked out the solution.
We've moved from being able to just design and build good hardware into developing the HMIs, programming in-house, developing through the PLC programming and bringing that in-house, whereas in the past we would have outsourced that. So for the future, the big one for us will be software, which is really what the brand has been about since day one. You know, if you remember back at the beginning of the story, we enhanced other people's products. Well, we did that with software too. It's one thing to have clever systems, clever software, clever AI or whatever, but it needs human direction. Because otherwise you're going to end up developing something that nobody can benefit from, nobody can use. Whereas this business for the past 30 years has done completely the opposite of that. We've developed things that people can use in a really beneficial way for their businesses, you know, to make their lives easier, to make their businesses more profitable, to deliver their products faster to their customers, to enhance the quality of whatever it is that they do. And I think that's where we're going to come in. That's going to be a big part of our future for the next 2 to 3 years, I would say.
Our strength would be where we're doing mass productions. If you can have one product but you need to produce it millions of times, that's where we want to roll out a solution which has got all the automated handling. These are much bigger systems. I think that's where we have the scope to go.
And then I would say obviously growing the export markets. So, you know, Lotus UK and Europe and the Nordic regions. Can we also go into like North America? That's where I want to see in the next 10 years. If we're so successful here, if we can kind of like grab what we're doing here and then expand it and push it in the US, what is that potential? How big can Lotus be? That's what's exciting.
We're not really actually a hardware company or a software company. We're about creating relationships. And so long as those relationships are successful, they perpetuate. The best at what we do will be judged by the customers. That's not something that we judge ourselves by, and we can aspire to be the best that we do. When you've got founder managers or owner managers, or when you've got family within the business, it's more than just turning up on a Monday morning and working your 9 to 5.
In terms of business and like, you know, passion and skill set, I do share a lot of those, you know, in common with my dad. He's probably my best mate. He's my dad and he's my business partner. We've always been close since such a young age. You know, he used to take me fishing, and then, you know, as I've got older, I've just been lucky enough that, because we get on like at the house on fire, that we can actually work together. And I think that's really special. And I think I was really lucky as well, because like not only did I have my dad as a role model, I also had my granddad. You know, he never sort of like put the tools down and took his foot off the pedal. He constantly pressed on. So like we'd be working on Saturdays, like rather than like relaxing at the weekend or having the evening off, we'd be like unboxing keyrings at the dining table. Having that kind of work ethic kind of like filtered down to my dad and filtered down through me. So I'm really lucky that I had both those role models. It's kind of shaped who I am, and couldn't ask for anything different, anything better. I say I was just really, really lucky to have both of them. Yeah, and then obviously that's where I am today. Yeah.
It's been a good journey. It's been a good journey. It's far from over. You know, 30 years went quite quickly, and I'm just as excited and enthusiastic about the next, probably not 30 years for me, but certainly 30 years for the business.